Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Today I'm going to show an art journal page using this beautiful paper doll. I received her in Happy Mail from Karen. Thank you, Karen, so much. Karen has been watching my videos and I inspired her to make some paper dolls. She drew this face herself a couple years ago, I believe, and then by watching some of my videos she decided to make it into a paper doll. And we decided to do a trade and a swap. So she sent me this one. I'm going to make one for her. And she did leave a note in the envelope that said to go ahead and embellish her any way I want. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to show what I'm planning on doing with her. And I decided to use her on an art journal page. Right now she measures about 9 inches. So she's a little bit big to turn into an ornament to hang on my paper doll tree. So that's why I decided to put her in one of my art journals. Karen did a fabulous job. This is so creative. It looks like this was done on some Yupo paper with some alcohol ink, and then she doodled it, which is really super fun. And then this looks like it's watercolor paper, and it's got a really nice layered textured background with some transparent images, some transparent things that make it layered. I love it. I love the heart, adorable, that's super cute. And this is Yupo as well, that's doodled, and then this cute face that she drew. I just love her, and my vision for this is to turn her into an angel. I don't want to do a whole lot to her to disrupt what Karen has done because it's already so beautiful. So I'm going to just add some things to her. I think I'm going to draw some arms that are maybe have clasped hands. I may use a stamp right here and right here with some swirled images. I'm going to make some angel wings. I'm going to leave her hair and her face the way that it is. I might just add some color to her cheeks, but she is really super cool already. Karen did a fabulous job, and I don't want to alter that a lot. I just want to kind of add to it. I decided I'm going to start with a really dark background because I want to make her really stand out, and since it's an angel I'm going to kind of make a night sky. So I'm taking a really dark blue and I'm going to just make my background, and I don't think this blue is even dark enough, but I'll start with it and maybe add another. Yeah, this is too bright, but I'm going to make it in layers. So I'm going to add this and then let it dry and then add a darker blue and keep going until I get this background exactly the way that I want it. The first layer I just swirled it on with some baby wipes, and the second layer I'm using my soft sponge, making it damp, and I'm taking a darker blue. This is an English navy, and this one is, what is this? This one is indigo. Still don't know that they're going to be as dark as I had in my mind. That one's better. And I'm going to just keep working at this until I get it looking like a dark night sky. And I like the different colors and the layers that they make instead of just using one solid plain color. If you painted your whole background with just a navy blue dark, it's not going to be as interesting to look at as layering like this, where I've got this brighter blue and then a darker blues on top of it layering it. So it'll just have more depth and interest. I love how this turned out. It's 3 different colors of blue, and then it still wasn't dark enough, so I had added black at the top, and now I really love it. So that's my night sky, and it's really going to make this pop. Look how she's going to just come to life. I love it. So I'm going to set this aside and let it dry because it's a lot of layers of paint. And next I'm going to work on the wings. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take a piece of gray cardstock, and the reason I'm choosing gray is because it'll give the feathers on the wings a little bit of depth. And I'm using this stencil. It's by Shawn Petite. It's called Wing and a Prayer. And I'm going to use this right here for the wings, and I'm going to do it in white paint. and then the gray behind it is just going to give it some depth. So I'm going to stencil this using white gesso and my sponge. I like the texture of gesso, and I like how stark white it is. And I'm not worried about it being too perfect because it's feathers, and I can always add to it, change it. Here's the first one. And now I'm going to have to go wash my stencil so that I can flip it and do a reverse image. So here are my 2 wings done with white gesso, and I'm going to put that aside. That's on cardstock. And now what I'm going to do is I'm taking a piece of plain vellum and the same stencil and a little rubber mat. And I have done this in another video, but I'm going to use it a little bit different this time. And my only complaint about this stencil from Shawn Petite is it is so thin and so flimsy. See how it's starting to curl up? So that makes it a little tricky. But I'm going to just go with it anyway. So I'm going to put the vellum over the top, I think. And I'm only going to use a part of it. And I'm using a stylus. This has little round ends. And I'm going to lightly trace this stencil image to kind of emboss it into the vellum. So I'm going to go around each one of those little sections lightly. You don't want to push through and tear your vellum, so you kind of have to be careful with this process. But if you are successful, it turns out so pretty. It's really nice. And you can do this with any angel wing stencil. I think that Crafter's Workshop has one, and it's a little bit thicker, so it's a little more easy to work with. So I'm just going to go through and trace around each one of those images. Let me take it off and show you what that looks like. So there's the back side, and then when you flip it over, you get the image embossed. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and make 2 embossed wings, and then I'll show you my idea. So here are my 2 wings. This is the embossed side. It looks really cool. I didn't use this top section here because I'm going to do something different in that section. So I'm going to put these 2 things aside. And now what I want to do is just take my little scissors, my detail scissors, and I'm going to cut these pieces out. I cut this out and I left a little bit of an edge. See how I didn't cut right up to the embossed spots? And I tried to make it look a little bit feather-like as the ends are, to try to make it look more like feathers. Now what I want to do is to take a cutting mat and an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to go in here in this interior part, and I'm going to cut just those interior feathers, leaving it attached so that I can make them stand up. So what I have in mind is to just go in here and cut along on the outside of that embossed image as best I can. They don't have to be perfect, but you know, I want to do a nice job. But my idea for it is to make them stand up so that it gives the wings even more dimension. So with that cut, those inner parts cut, I can kind of take my finger and fold them out a little bit, curl them out, and see how that gives that a real wing look. And then when it's over this piece, my thought hopefully is that you'll see some of that underneath, and it'll really give those wings some dimension. Hopefully that's what it'll look like. We'll see. I'm going to just play around. Next I'm going to cut out the cardboard wings. And I'm kind of going a little bit close. And I'm just going to cut out this shape, this wing shape, and fussy cut all this wing design. Just trying to give it a little bit of wing shape instead of so round. This stencil's a little round. So there's that. And here are my pieces, and I separated the two pieces so that I can glue it on, and I'm going to offset it a little so some of that white gesso wing part will show, and it'll look like more feathers if it's offset. So I'm just going to put glue along this edge and tack it down, and then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to layer it over the top and glue it in place too. And look at how that's creating a wing that's really going to look realistic. So what I did was I went back to my stencil and I did this section again, so there's a third piece, and that's going to go on top of this one. And look at this wing, I'm loving it. There, look at how cool that wing looks. If you could see it in person, it's just so pretty. It doesn't convey well on camera, probably because it's white, but you can kind of see all those little turned up feathers, and it's really pretty. I love it. So I'm going to duplicate that for the other wing and finish those. These wings turned out fabulous. I love them. They look nice and lacy and real. They look like feathers. It's exactly what I had in mind. Look how cool they're going to look behind the girl. Perfection. Love it. Now I'm going back to my background, and I'm going to use these Tim Holtz stencils. I think this pattern is called Hocus Pocus, and I have it in the regular size and the mini size. And I'm going to just use some white gesso again, and I'm going to just go along and put this in a few places and in both sizes onto the background to make it look like swirls of stars. So here's that background. I love it. Looks cool and fun, and boy, is that going to make her just pop. Look at, oh, love it. Love it. So next what I'm going to do is put this book aside and work on my angel here. I'm going to just take, I don't want to do a lot to it because I love what Karen did. So I just want to add a couple of little touches to it. And I'm going to take a filigree rubber stamp and add some swirl stamping to her base here. And I might have to go back in with like a Posca pen and fill in because it's a textured background. Nope, it's stamped good. Like, I just wanted some filigree. And then I'm going to do a little bit on the other side. A little bit here maybe. I'm taking a glitter Posca pen in yellow, and I'm just going to go in and add some sparkle. So I'm just kind of going to go around her head and then take my finger and blend it out. I like glittery things, and it's just adding some sparkle to this because it needs sparkle. See how that makes that really cool sparkle behind her. So that's going to just illuminate and make her face stand out even more. Next I'm going to take a piece of blue tulle, and it's real kind of sparkly and it's very soft. And I'm going to take a needle and thread, and I'm just going to do a little gather stitch across this. I run it through first and then tie a knot at the end to kind of anchor it in the tulle, because a knot obviously would pull right through. So if you just tie a knot, take a stitch and tie a knot, then it ties it and anchors it that way. And then you can get started with doing a gathering stitch. And I just am doing it with needle and thread by hand, and my thread is pink, and it doesn't really matter because this is going to go on the back side, so it doesn't matter what color thread. So I'm just going to take it and go back and forth. I'm kind of folding it over at the top just to give it some stability, and then just running it back and forth. So when I pull it through, I'm going to get a gather all the way across. So I finished the length of gathering at the width of the bottom of her skirt and I tied a knot, and then I just put some art glitter glue across the bottom edge and glued it into place. So when you flip it over, now she's got kind of this really fun tulle skirt image coming from the bottom. And then I think I'm going to take this decorative trim and glue it into place just to finish off that edge, and I'll wrap it around the back side. So I'm going to glue that and I'll put that aside, and next what I'm going to do are her legs. Next I'm going to make her legs. I'm using a Dyan Reaveley rubber stamp. I love this stamp set, and this pair of legs are just super funky and cute, and I think that my angel needs to have some really cute funky legs. So I'm going to go ahead and ink and stamp that onto cardstock. I've stamped the legs onto cardstock, and now I'm going to cut them out, and I'm going to separate them. I'm not going to keep them together like they are. I'm going to split them and make them into two separate legs like this. That way I can position them differently on my angel doll. So I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut those out. So now I'm just laying her out where I'm going to have her on the page. I have to put her at an angle, which I wasn't really excited about, but otherwise I'd have to cut her or fold her, and I really don't want to cut her because she's just too cute and I don't want to ruin it. So she's going to be at an angle, which is okay and it's cute. So I've got her pieced together, and now I'm just going to glue her pieces all into place. Her arms I got out of a magazine and cut them out, and she's ready to go with her cute little Dyan Reaveley feet and her pretty wings. So I'm going to glue her into place. So here it is completed, and I decided to tip her this way instead of this way. I think it made her interact with the page a little bit better, and I added the words, "Let love catch your dreams and dance them to the stars." So here she is, and I added some Nuvo drops around the scallops and put her arms on, and put that trim along the edge and added her feet, and so there it is. Oh, I did add some sparkly Nuvos just to some of the stars, not all of them, just some of them, just to make a few stars twinkle. So there it is, and I hope you enjoyed this. And again, Karen, beautiful doll. Thank you so much. I love her. I can't wait for you to get the one I'm making for you. She's not quite finished. And it was a fun trade, and your girl is happy in my journal. So hope you enjoyed watching, seeing what I did with her, and thanks again. And for everybody else, I hope this gave you some inspiration, some ideas of maybe what to do with a stencil of angel wings and some vellum paper and a fun night sky starry background. So hope you enjoyed, and thanks for stopping by. Go make art, because art soothes the heart. And there's nothing better than a paper doll in your journal.